My name's Chris, this is Lifeaholics Fishing, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the Palomar knot and the 3 different variations that I use whenever I'm out on the water. Let's get into the video. Now in this video, we're going over my favorite knot, the Palomar knot. Now, there's 3 different variations that I use. Now, there are better knots. There are, easier knots too. The clinch knot, improved clinch knot. I personally found that the Palomar knot is easier than that and more consistent than the improved or the regular clinch knot, just because of the wrapping and all that. With the Palomar knot, it's simple. You always know what to expect, and you always can see exactly how it looks to make sure it is the correct knot. Now, any angler will tell you, it doesn't matter if they're a pro or just a seasoned, very experienced, it doesn't matter who it is, they'll all tell you the same thing. Whatever knot that you're most confident with is the knot that you should be using. Now, for me, this is my confidence knot. I can use this over anything. There is other knots that I'll be doing videos on, the uni knot, double uni, stuff like that, but I want to start with this because I believe this is the best one for beginners, because there's 3 different variations just to one. So in the description below, there will be time codes. So that way, if you need to slow down, go back, or anything like that, you can simply click that and it'll take you right to that moment in the video. So that way you can really dial in and learn this knot the correct way. Now, to demonstrate this correctly so you could actually see what I'm doing perfectly, I'm going to be using paracord with a big size O-ring, so that way you can see it and it's larger. Plus, up here in this video, I'll also have me doing it with a regular braided line, so that way you see how it looks when you're doing it out on the water. Before we get into it and I start showing you exactly how to do these knots, I want you to know about one step that is, no matter what, a must do for every single knot, no matter what you're doing. Before you cinch everything down and pull it tight, make sure that you wet the line no matter what, especially for braid and fluoro, because if you don't, when it goes and bites into itself, it'll cause that heat friction and it'll weaken your knot. So before cinching it down, wetten your line. So like I said, I'm going to be using this paracord. This is what it looks like, with just a standard, just a regular, this hangs up at the hardware store. Now, I highly suggest actually getting some of this just for yourself, or you can just go get regular twine, anything, practicing it a bit at home, so that way when you get out on the water and use it on your fishing line, you're more confident with it. So the first one we're going to be doing is the standard Palomar knot that you see and can use for anything. It's very, very universal. So let's start with that one. Now, as you see, this is the tag end. The end that I have taped is the tag end. This is the end that you'll be cutting off at the end. So however long you'd like to make it, that is getting all removed, so don't stress it. Now first, take your tag end, put it through the yoke, and pull it out about 6 inches. I usually go 6 to 12 inches, even on my regular fishing line. It seems to be the best way to do it. So after that, take your tag end and put it back through the O, so that way you're holding a loop on this side. Now, best way to do it, just like you would with your shoes and tying your shoes, you take your the bunny ear, put it over, and then wrap it. And that's how it should look. You want to make sure that it's perfect like this, because what you're doing after you do that, you're going to take your 2 fingers and go ahead and grab your O-ring and then pull it through. And then as you pull it through, pull on your tag end, pull on your main line, and that right there is the Palomar knot. Easy peasy. So now the second variation to that, we're going to start with the improved Palomar knot. Now, I suggest using the improved Palomar knot, especially for braided line. Reason being, as you'll see, braided line needs to bite into something. Now, typically some people, they'll use the clinch knot and they'll be wondering why exactly their line just keeps slipping through. Well, braid, because of the material, needs to bite into itself to make that knot strong and to keep it in place. So this is the improved Palomar knot. Now let's take your tag end and we're going to start it just a little differently. Take it through the eye and then wrap it around the eye. That way you have an added layer there So let that braid bite into itself. Now I highly suggest taking out quite a bit of line on your tag end for this next part. Now you're going to go back through and do a standard Palomar knot. Now the best way that I like doing it is holding it like this. Take your tag end and put it through. Now for bigger lures, bigger stuff like that, you're going to need to make it a lot bigger on this end, so that way you can put it through that lure. So after that, take your bunny ear and make your overhand knot. And then after you got your overhand knot, grab your eye and pull it through. And then take your tag, pull your tag end, pull everything up. Right in place. It's a little bit harder with the paracord, but still gets the point across. And that's right there is how it should look. You can also do this with fluorocarbon. It works just the same, but like I said, this is great for braid. Before I show you the last variation, if you're finding value from this content, please hit that subscribe button with the little bell next to it. That way you're notified of all my next videos when they come out. Also, if you like it, hit that like button. And in the comments below, let me know what your confidence knot is and your go-to knot is for every situation. I'd love to hear your feedback. Now let's get back to the video so I can show you this last variation. Now, the last variation that I'll be showing you today is the double Palomar knot. Still very simple. It's a minor variation, but it's very good for when you're frogging or using a thick braid or thick fluoro and you need it to just pull through. The double Palomar knot keeps it really tight and pulls everything. So it's definitely a good go-to for that thicker stuff and for the heavy cover that you're going to be going and throwing stuff in. But I'm telling you, if you don't want to use it for like crankbaits or things like that, because it really does hold that still. Like the lure frog, it'll hold it dead in place and will not give it that free action that you're typically used to. So make sure that you pick and choose when you use this knot. All right, so getting into it, double Palomar is quite easy. It's not as complicated as you'd think. All right, so let's take our tag end and go ahead and put it through. And then put it right back through the eye, just like you would for the standard Palomar. Make sure you give yourself a little bit more line than you typically do. And then go ahead and take your bunny ear and do that overhand knot. And here is where the difference comes in. You're going to take that bunny ear and wrap it one more time before you pull it down and through and grab that eye. And that right there is the double Palomar knot. And that is how it should look. Now this is also another good one for braid because it does bite into itself. As you see, it's very big, but as you also can tell with how it looks, when you pull that through, there is no wiggling in it. It's keeping it nice and tight. Now, like I said, this is the paracord, so it's not exactly, you know, going to be able to show or mimic the lure or bait like you typically would see, but it still gets the point across. So there you have it, the Palomar knots. 3 different variations for you to try out. They're all very, very good and strong knots that many people use. Like I said, there are other knots out there that people would say is stronger. You know, you got the uni knot, you also got the FG knot, blood knot, plenty of knots out there. But like I said, any angler will tell you, you use the knot you're most confident with. And this one, this is personally my favorite. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you found some value from this content, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell right next to it so you're notified when I put out my next video. Also, if you liked it, smash that like button. And in the comments below, let me know what your confidence knot is. Let me know which knot that you just go to for everything. Also, if you share this, comment, and like, you will be entered into the first Lifeaholics giveaway. I got Lifeaholics merch. I got merch from Fish NFX. I got merch from Wicked Weights, plus a couple other things that I'm keeping to myself until that drawing comes, which that is October 31st, Halloween. That'll be 8 p.m. Halloween night. I'll be pulling a name from the random generator and seeing who gets the first Lifeaholics giveaway. So I hope all of you guys enter. I want to get this up to as many people as possible, and to enter more times and get more entries, go ahead and click link below to head over to our Facebook page, like that, share that, comment on it, let me know that you did all that, and boom, there's some extra entries. Make sure you tag some friends, anybody else who might find value or would like to get entered into that giveaway. So until the next video, guys, tight lines as always. I'll see you in the next video.